morning, everyone. Welcome to the beautiful Silverado Park in the 7th District. We said we wanted to go all in on homelessness, and today we're doubling up our capacity for shelter. Everybody say double up. Say double up. Say all in. All in. All right. I'm joined today by District 7 Council Member Roberto Uranga, Kelly Colopy, and our Health Department Director, our Public Works Director, Eric Lopez, and our City Manager, Tom Modica. In addition to their roles in their departments, both Kelly and Eric are co-leading the homeless emergency. We wanted to make sure that we show up differently, and how we show up shows a unified front between Public Works, who can move quickly to put up things like shelter, and our comprehensive health department, the best in the state of California, who has plenty of experience on this emergency. And as you can see, just weeks after we declared the emergency, we're already showing real progress in terms of our capacity. Today, you'll hear from us about how this shelter came about and ways it'll help people. Following the press conference, we'll take some questions, and then we'll switch to interpretation in Spanish and Khmer. Because the shelter isn't up yet, we won't have tours today. We think it'll take, about 3 weeks? 3 weeks. About 3 weeks to get the shelter up and running. Right now, it's still being used as a gym. There's a class in there being taught right now. Also with us is Brent Dennis, who's the Director of Parks, Recreation, and Marines, and Homeless Services Bureau, Paul Duncan, and First to Serve, who's our nonprofit partner, who will operate the site, both John Sutton and Bianca Martinez. With the support of City Council and the hard work of our city staff, I'm pleased to announce that we will be opening a second winter shelter here in the city of Long Beach for the very first time in our city's history, which will expand our capacity to provide shelter and resources that are critically needed by people who are sleeping in cold, windy, and rainy months. In addition to the existing winter shelter at Community Hospital, the new shelter will be open right here in West Long Beach and will be operated in partnership with First to Serve Ministries, a nonprofit that's since 2003 has focused on providing transitional housing, medical, and support services to homeless men, women, and children. First to Serve also operates our Atlantic Bridge facility in North Long Beach and our current winter shelter over in East Long Beach. I had the opportunity to go and tour the shelter just this week, and they run an incredible operation, very positive staff, and we have utmost confidence they're going to run a great operation here. This new shelter is going to be great. Like I opened with, it's going to double our capacity and be open beyond winter. These beds will be available through May. This is the most capacity we've ever had by far in our winter shelter program. The new emergency shelter will have 84 beds in addition to the 81 beds that are at Community Hospital. When we were looking at the 1,900 people in Long Beach who are unsheltered, living on the streets, 164 beds may not be seem like a lot, but in actuality, it brings 10% of the individuals who are unhoused, sleeping on the streets, under a roof. So that's significant capacity to go from 5% to 10% capacity for individuals sleeping on the streets. This is in addition to the 1,301 beds available year-round throughout our city through the ABC and other partner shelters. And while this new shelter here and the one at Community Hospital aren't permanent, we're working together with folks to identify longer-term permanent housing so when the temporary shelters close, people have a place to go. We wouldn't be able to do this, first of all, without Councilmember Roberto Uranga and the 7th District community. I personally know how difficult it is sometimes showing leadership on an issue, but when we put out the call to go all in, Councilmember Uranga did not hesitate. So thank you for stepping up and going all in this moment to support our efforts to address the homelessness crisis. And we also want to thank Brent Dennis and our partners in Parks and Recreation and the entire team for being great partners here. I'm proud of the work that his team has done to minimize impacts to our park programs while doing their part to help us get people off the streets. And we're doing all we can to have a unified front and combine our efforts to increase points of entry, to including access with our new MAC, the Mobile Access Center, that has really done a great job at getting out of the MSC and getting out to the street, making it easier for people to access the shelter. Through this and other efforts, efforts in the works, it reflects our commitment to ensuring access and support for all the members of our community. I'm certain that adding this additional shelter will be a tremendous benefit and make a meaningful difference in the lives of our unhoused residents, allowing more people the opportunity to stay in a warm environment in the days that they need it most. And now I'm very pleased to welcome Councilmember Roberto Uranga.
Thank you, Mayor, for a very extensive description of what this homeless shelter does. I'm very pleased that Silverado Park is going to be a site. It's not the first time that it's going to be used for this opportunity. In 2000, at the height of the pandemic, the Silverado facility, the gym, was used for housing homeless individuals who were at risk of contracting COVID-19. At that time, we served a couple of hundred people, homeless people experiencing homelessness, and it went over very well. One of the things that I'm most pleased about is that it's taking place in the parks, with us as a city entity having better control and better access to provide support for people. So with that, I want to thank the mayor, city staff, Parks and Recreation, Public Works for getting this together, and I'm sure that it is, as it says, an emergency shelter, which means it has a beginning and it has an end. So we hope to be able to be cleared out of here in time for summer programs coming up in the summer. So looking forward to working with the mayor and with staff on making this a successful facility. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Uranga. I now want to invite up Kelly Colby, our Director of our Health Department.
Thank you, Mayor and Council Member. So this is our second emergency shelter, which we really see as a major step in addressing the immediate needs of our unsheltered residents. And while we still have a lot to do, opening the shelter is one of the many ways that we can help people right away. I'm really grateful to our operator, First to Serve Ministries, jumping into a third partnership so quickly. We appreciate you so much for that work. You've been an incredible partner throughout these processes, and so I just want to give you a big shout out. So this shelter, located here in the gym at Silverado, will be a place where people have clean restrooms, showers, and an outdoor area. Services at the shelter include housing focused case management, screening for housing programs, referrals to the year-round shelter programs, 3 meals per day, and various activities to increase engagement. The shelter will be open 24 hours a day and be able to accommodate, as the mayor said, 84 people through May. It will be open to men and women, and for people who have service animals or pets under 30 pounds, those animals are invited as well. If a person wants to access the shelter at the Silverado location, they will need to either register at the Multi-Service Center or through our Mobile Access Center, so through the MACs. The MAC really helps support folks who can't get to the MSC but who want to be sheltered. This will increase our reach and make it easier for people to access the shelter and to these critical services. After registering, they'll be able to take a shuttle from the MSC, or if people are registered through the MAC, the Mobile Access Centers, they'll be able to, we'll work with them to provide transportation to the shelter as well. It will not be a walk-up shelter at this location. The Multi-Service Center, for those who would like to enroll there, is at 1301 West 12th Street. Daily pickups will be in the early evening and with transportation to the MSC in the mornings. And for the safety of shelter participants, staff in the community will have security here 24/7. So getting connected at the MSC and through the MAC is really the best way and the quickest way to access shelter in the city of Long Beach. So with all of that, we want to just let you all know that this is so important during these cold months, the winter months of California, and we're so happy that we were able to do this as quickly as we are. So with that, more information for the winter shelter, please call the MSC, which is 562-570-4500, or you can find information at longbeach.gov/homelessness. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Let's see. Next, we'll hear from Eric Lopez, our Public Works Director.
Thank you, Mayor. And thanks to everyone for being with us today as we unveil the new location of the additional emergency temporary shelter. This is part of our city's urgent needs to address the emergency facing our entire community. As the city's Director of Public Works and co-incident commander to this local state of emergency, I'll make sure we bring our department's expertise in project and construction management and the sense of urgency that this moment requires. We are committed to moving efficiently and fast to tackle the city's top priorities. Today is an example of how Public Works, the Health Department, the Parks and Recreation, and Marine Department, our regional partners, how we can collaborate effectively to provide additional shelter for the city's most vulnerable population. In order to reduce impacts to current programming at this park facility, we will be installing fencing to better contain our specialized services, and we will be working closely with our Parks and Recreation Department staff. It'll take a little while to install the fencing, the porta potties, and everything else that's needed to operate as a temporary shelter, but we expect to be open within the next 3 weeks. In addition to bringing people inside during these cold winter months, the city is also looking at creative solutions to help those and other types of housing situation needs. Yesterday, the Long Beach Board of Utilities Commissioners approved the use of a new space that will provide people experiencing homelessness and currently living in their RVs with sanitation and water filling services. We're still confirming lead times of required materials and equipment, but we expect to complete construction within 2 to 3 weeks upon receiving all the materials that we require for that. In order to access this service, people experiencing homelessness will be referred through the multi-service center, making them eligible to not only utilize the site for sanitation dumping and water filling, but also to future portable showers that we will be installing in the coming weeks. This vital resource for our community members living in RVs will be open daily from around 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Thank you to the Board of Utility Commissioners and Councilwoman Megan Kerr for their support of this much-needed service. We are continuing to look at identifying other ways to help those who are living in their vehicles, including safe parking programs. Expect more announcements to come soon. This emergency is allowing us to move quickly, more quickly than ever before, to help people experiencing homelessness. And Kelly and I, along with everyone across this city who has been assigned to tackle this emergency, are taking this task very seriously. With that, I'd like to turn it back to Mayor Richardson.
All right. So we've heard from Eric Lopez. I think we've heard from Kelly Colopy. We want to thank all of you for coming out and joining us. We've made a lot of progress in these few weeks. Another shelter. We just heard about the RV dumping site. We're working on safe parking and other capacity that we need to make a real difference. I want to iterate that anyone seeking shelter or other services, they should go through our MSC or our MAC in order to access these services. If you are someone experiencing homelessness or at risk of becoming homeless, please call 562-570-4500. And if for any reason you don't get through right away, please leave a message. We'll call every person back that leaves their name and phone number. With that, I'll turn it over to Aldo. We're going to take questions before we do interpretation. So any questions for the group?
Are you going to offer street medicine services at this new shelter?
I don't know what street medicine is. I'm going to pass that to Kelly. It had a different definition when I was growing up.
So our teams have public health nurses, so that our different teams, and so we'll be working to see what opportunities there are to utilize our programs in this location. We have partnerships with other street medicine providers as well through the LA County and through SCAN. So we'll be looking at those possibilities.
Good, thank you. What else? Yes, ma'am. Well, I think this has been record time in setting up. It typically takes, in order to identify a site and set up a shelter, it's a months-long process. Our city literally spends months identifying sites. Since we issued the call to action, on the homeless response, we issued a call to all the departments to look at what's available, and we pulled this together pretty quickly, actually. Anybody want to? Eric, you want to add something? Come on.
We also have to coordinate site logistics depending on the specific property that we choose. Every property is different. How you set up the interior spaces need to be planned out, need to be designed, and then you need to execute, bringing in all the different furniture, all the different materials that are required to get it ready to actually serve people. Then you have the site, the exterior of the site that you're working on, and you have to figure out how to keep it safe, how to keep it contained, how to make sure that we're providing adequate outdoor space. That takes time to plan, to make sure we are coming up with a plan that's optimal and most effectively serves the needs of the folks that we're trying to help. In addition to all of that, we work closely with our partners and with the community to ensure that everything is in place and ready to accept people. So 3 weeks is actually a record time. It takes public agencies months and months to set these types of facilities together. We're really excited that we get to do this fast. The emergency declaration allows us to move this fast, and we can't wait to get this open and serving people as soon as possible.
You know, one other part our health department director reminds me is that a big part of this is the services are funded through LASA. So we have to work together, and we thank them for moving so quickly and approving a second winter shelter. The most capacity we've ever had was 125 beds up at where we now have the Atlantic Bridge community, a bridge shelter. Well, that's a permanent year-round shelter, so that's not available for additional capacity now. So to identify this space, we now have more capacity than we've ever had significantly in the winter shelter program. So the declaration of emergency allowed us to move faster on procurement and things like that. We thank LASA for moving quickly on the request and allowing us to do this, and it's really been a real all-in team effort. Other questions? Anyone else? Going once? Going twice? Well, with that, I'll turn it over to Aldo Rentario and Nareth Muang, who will now provide recaps in Spanish and Khmer. Thank you.
Hola a todos, muy buenos días. Hoy nos acompañó el alcalde Rex Richardson y el concejal del Distrito 7, Roberto Aranga, y Kelly Colopoy, nuestro director del Departamento de Salud y el director de Obras Públicas. Además de sus funciones en nuestros departamentos, Kelly y Eric están liderando un proyecto en conjunto con esos esfuerzos de emergencia para personas sin hogar. Hoy compartieron cómo surgió ese refugio y las formas en que ayudará a las personas a que tengan una mejor calidad de vida. Con el apoyo de nuestro concejal, el arduo trabajo de personas en la ciudad, nos complace anunciar que abriremos un segundo refugio de invierno en la ciudad de Long Beach, que ampliará nuestra capacidad para proporcionar este refugio que las personas necesitan críticamente para los fríos y temporadas de lluvia. Además, nuestro refugio de invierno existe en el hospital de la comunidad. El nuevo refugio será inaugurado en Silverado Park, o conocido en español como el Parque Silverado, al oeste de Long Beach, y será operado en asociación con First Serve Outreach Ministry, que viene siendo una organización sin fines de lucro. Desde el 2003 se ha centrado en proporcionar vivienda de transición, que es el eje central que nos puede ayudar a vincular a estos servicios. First Serve también opera en nuestro distrito en Atlantic Bridge Housing, que se refiere a vivienda. Nuestro refugio de invierno actual en el hospital y dentro de la comunidad. Este nuevo refugio de emergencia va a ser genial, va a ser algo que nos va a unir como ciudad, como sociedad, y unir ese tejido social. Duplicará nuestra capacidad y seguirá teniendo acceso después de la temporada de invierno. Estas camas estarán disponibles hasta finales de mayo. Como lo mencionó anteriormente, están duplicando esta capacidad. Sin embargo, el nuevo refugio de emergencia tendrá 84 camas disponibles, que se sumarán a las 81 en el sitio de refugio de invierno del hospital comunitario que ya está puesto en marcha. Cuando observamos a 2.300 personas en Long Beach que no tienen refugio, 164 camas pueden no parecer suficiente, pero siempre es un buen punto de partida para hacer el bien común. En realidad, se lleva el 7% de la población sin refugio desde el 2022 al interior. Esto se suma a las 1.300 camas disponibles durante todo el año a través de la ciudad y nuestras agencias asociadas. Aunque el nuevo refugio aquí y el hospital comunitario no son permanentes, estamos trabajando arduamente para que la gente se integre, para identificar viviendas a largo plazo, algo más estable, que nos ayude, que nos sirva para utilizarlo de mejor manera. Y esos refugios temporales llegarán, sin embargo, a su fin, pero que tengan un lugar permanente a largo plazo. El segundo refugio de invierno estará ubicado en el gimnasio del Parque Silverado, donde los usuarios tendrán acceso a baños limpios, a ducharse, un área libre para hacer sus necesidades de esparcimiento. Los servicios en el refugio incluyen la administración de casos que se enfocan en la vivienda, detección durante todo el año, 3 comidas por día y diversas actividades para aumentar su participación y su enfoque. El refugio estará abierto las 24 horas del día, 7 días a la semana, enfatizando ese punto, y podrá atender a 84 personas hasta el próximo mayo del presente año. Será disponible para hombres y para mujeres. Si una persona desea acceder al refugio en la ubicación de Silverado, deberá registrarse en el Centro de Servicios Múltiples o en el acceso del mismo centro móvil para aquellos que no puedan acudir físicamente al centro. No podríamos hacer esto sin el concejal Uranga y la comunidad del 7º Distrito del Consejo. Gracias por todo su apoyo. Es un paso adelante con la ciudad, hacer todo esto posible para apoyar nuestros esfuerzos, para resolver la crisis de las personas sin hogar y a las mismas veces la indigencia. Brett Dennis y nuestros socios del Departamento de Parques y Recreación y a todo el equipo también han sido colaboradores increíbles y esenciales. Se les agradece. Estamos orgullosos del trabajo que el equipo ha hecho en conjunto para reducir los impactos de estos programas de parques mientras hacen su parte ayudando a las personas a salir de las calles y vincularlos a dichos servicios que son tan importantes y fundamentales. Estamos haciendo todo lo posible para combinar nuestros esfuerzos, incluso con nuestro centro de acceso móvil. Facilita el acceso de las personas y el refugio a la misma vez. Estos esfuerzos que se encuentran en proceso reflejan nuestro compromiso para garantizar el acceso y el apoyo para todos los integrantes de nuestra comunidad. Para obtener mayor información sobre el refugio de invierno, favor de comunicarse al ADA 562-570-4500 o visite la página en línea del ayuntamiento. Se les agradece. Muchísimas gracias por sintonizarse.
បាទសូមជម្រាបសួរថ្ងៃនេះយើងមានវត្តមានលោកអភិបាលក្រុង Rex Richardson ចៅសង្កាត់លេខ7លោក Roberto Uranga នាយកខាងនាយិកាខាងក្រសួងសុខាភិបាលអ្នកស្រី Kelly Colopi និងនាយកសាធារណការលោក Eric Lopez បន្ថែមទៅលើតួនាទីដែលមានស្រាប់របស់ពួកគាត់គឺអ្នកស្រី Kelly និងលោក Eric គឺជាសមាជិកខាងក្រុមថ្នាក់ដឹកនាំការងារគម្រោងដោះស្រាយបន្ទាន់បញ្ហាអនាថាឬក៏ភាពគ្មានផ្ទះសម្បែងផងបាទថ្ងៃនេះគឺនេះជាសារទាំងស្រុងរបស់លោកអភិបាលក្រុងដូចតទៅដោយមានការជ្រោមជ្រែងពីក្រុមប្រឹក្សាក្រុងនិងការពុះពៀដដជើងពីមន្ត្រីសាលាក្រុងផងយើងខ្ញុំមានសេចក្តីសោមនស្សសូមប្រកាសថាយើងនឹងដាក់ឲ្យដំណើរការ ទីជំរកទី2សម្រាប់រដូវត្រជាក់នៅឯទីក្រុងឡុងបិចដែលត្រូវពង្រីកសមត្ថភាពរបស់យើងនៅក្នុងការផ្ដល់ទីជំរកនិងធនធានដែលមានសារៈសំខាន់បំផុតនិងចាំបាច់បំផុតសម្រាប់ប្រជាពលរដ្ឋយើងនៅក្នុងរដូវត្រជាក់ដែលខ្យល់ធ្លាក់ផងនិងមានភ្លៀងផងនេះបន្ថែមទៅលើជំរកទី2ដែលមានស្រាប់នៅមន្ទីរពេទ្យសហគមន៍របស់យើងនោះជំរកថ្មីនេះនឹងបើកដំណើរការនៅឧទ្យាន Silverado នៅខាងលិចទីក្រុងឡុងបិចហើយនឹងបើកដំណើរការដោយមានកិច្ចសហការជាដៃគូជាមួយនឹងក្រសួងផ្សព្វផ្សាយបម្រើប្រជាពលរដ្ឋជាដៃគូគ្នាគឺក្រសួងផ្សព្វផ្សាយបម្រើប្រជាពលរដ្ឋជាចម្បងដែលជាអង្គការមិនរកប្រាក់កម្រៃបើកពីឆ្នាំ2003ដោយផ្ដោតទៅលើការផ្ដល់លំនៅឋានអន្តរកាលផ្ដល់សេវាសុខាភិបាលនិងការឧបត្ថម្ភដល់ស្ត្រីបុរសនិងកុមារផងដែលជាកុមារអនាថានិងបុរសស្ត្រីជាកុមារអនាថាជាមនុស្សអនាថាអង្គការបម្រើប្រជាពលរដ្ឋជាចម្បងនេះគឺជាអ្នកបើកដំណើរការទីតាំងលំនៅឋាននៅឯ Atlantic Bridge Housing និងជំរករដូវរងារដូវបច្ចុប្បន្នរបស់យើងនៅមន្ទីរពេទ្យសហគមន៍នោះបាទជំរកថ្មីបន្ទាន់សម្រាប់គ្រាមានអាសន្ននេះគឺជាជំរកដ៏អស្ចារ្យព្រោះវានឹងបង្កើនសមត្ថភាពរបស់យើងឲ្យទទួលមនុស្សកើនឡើងទ្វេដងហើយជំរកនេះបើករហូតដល់ផុតរដូវត្រជាក់ទៅទៀតបាទក្រែនៅតាមជំរកថ្មីនេះនឹងនៅតែបន្តផ្ដល់កន្លែងកក់ក្ដៅដល់ជនអនាថារហូតដល់ចុងខែឧសភាឯណោះដូចខ្ញុំបានជម្រាបរួចទៅហើយយើងនឹងពង្រីកជំរករបស់យើងឲ្យគុណលើស2ដងទៅទៀតជំរកថ្មីសម្រាប់គ្រាបន្ទាន់នេះនឹងបំពាក់ក្រែ84ក្រែបន្ថែមលើក្រែ81ក្រែនៅតាមទីជំរករដូវរងាមន្ទីរពេទ្យសហគមន៍បាននៅពេលដែលយើងមើលតួលេខពលរដ្ឋដែលមានរស់នៅដោយអនាថាចំនួន2300នាក់នៅក្នុងក្រុងឡុងបិចទាំងមូលយើងឃើញថា164ក្រែដូចជាមិនច្រើនពេកទេក៏ប៉ុន្តែជាការពិតជាក់ស្ដែងគឺចំនួនក្រែនេះគឺស្មើនឹង7%នៃជនអនាថាដែលយើងបានផ្ដល់ទីជម្រកជូនសមរម្យបើតាមស្ថិតិឆ្នាំ2022នៃជនអនាថានោះចំនួនក្រែទាំងនេះគឺជាចំនួនបន្ថែមទៅលើចំនួនក្រែដែលមានស្រាប់ចំនួន1301ក្រែដែលមានពេញមួយឆ្នាំសម្រាប់បងប្អូនដែលជាជនអនាថានិងដែលផ្ដល់ជូនដោយទីភ្នាក់ងារជាដៃគូរបស់ក្រុងប៉ុន្មានហើយបើទោះបីជាជំរកថ្មីនៅទីនេះនឹងជំរកនៅឯមន្ទីរពេទ្យសហគមន៍មិននៅជាអចិន្ត្រៃយ៍យ៉ាងណាក៏ដោយក៏យើងកំពុងតែប្រឹងប្រែងរកមើលលទ្ធភាពធ្វើឲ្យទីជំរកនេះនៅបានយូរអង្វែងឬក៏ជាអចិន្ត្រៃយ៍ដើម្បីពេលដែលជំរកបណ្ដោះអាសន្នបិទទៅពួកគាត់មានកន្លែងផ្សេងដើម្បីជ្រកកោនស្នាក់នៅជំរកទី2សម្រាប់រដូវរងានេះនឹងបើកដំណើរការនៅក្នុងក្លឹបហាត់ប្រាណនៅឯឧទ្យាន Silverado ដែលពលរដ្ឋអនាថាអាចប្រើបន្ទប់ទឹកឬក៏បង្គន់និងទីធ្លាខាងក្រៅបានផងដែរសេវានៅទីជំរកនេះរួមមានការរៀបចំសំណុំរឿងសម្រាប់លំនៅឋានការជួយចុះឈ្មោះសុំផ្ទះនៅការបញ្ជូនបន្តទៅរកកម្មវិធីជំរកពេញមួយឆ្នាំអាហារ3ពេលនៅក្នុងមួយថ្ងៃនិងសកម្មភាពផ្សេងៗទៀតដើម្បីការចូលរួមរបស់ពួកគាត់នៅក្នុងសហគមន៍ទីជំរកនេះនឹងបើកដំណើរការ24ម៉ោងនៅក្នុងមួយថ្ងៃហើយអាចឲ្យដាក់មនុស្សបានរហូតដល់ទៅ84នាក់រហូតដល់ចុងខែឧសភានោះបើកទទួលទាំងប្រុសទាំងស្រីបាននរណាម្នាក់ចង់ចូលស្នាក់នៅទីជំរកនេះនៅឧទ្យាន Silverado នេះគឺពួកគាត់ត្រូវចុះឈ្មោះនៅមជ្ឈមណ្ឌលពហុសេវាឬក៏ Multi Service Center ឬក៏នៅមណ្ឌលសេវាចល័តហើយសម្រាប់អ្នកដែលមិនអាចធ្វើដំណើរទៅមជ្ឈមណ្ឌលសេវាដែលពហុនោះបាននោះជាចុងក្រោយយើងក៏ធ្វើកិច្ចការងារនេះបានគឺដោយបើសិនជាគ្មានចៅសង្កាត់លេខ7លោក Roberto Ranga នោះទេគឺយើងទៅមិនរួចទេសូមអរគុណលោកចៅសង្កាត់ដែលបានបិទដៃលើជើងជួយយើងខិតខំអស់ពីកម្លាំងកាយចិត្តដើម្បីជួយដល់គម្រោងសាលាក្រុងនៅក្នុងការដោះស្រាយវិបត្តិជនអនាថាហើយយើងក៏មិនភ្លេចអរគុណលោក Brandonis និងដៃគូរបស់យើងផងដែរនិងក្រុមការងាររបស់លោកដែលជាដៃគូដ៏អស្ចារ្យរបស់យើងនៅក្នុងដំណើរការនេះយើងក៏មានមោទនភាពយ៉ាងក្រៃលែងចំពោះកិច្ចការដែលក្រុមពួកគាត់បានធ្វើនៅក្នុងការកាត់បន្ថយផលប៉ះពាល់ចំពោះកម្មវិធីតាមឧទ្យានដោយខិតខំជួយចូលរួមចំណែកជាមួយពួកយើងដើម្បីរំដោះជនអនាថាឲ្យផុតពីចិញ្ចើមផ្លូវហើយបញ្ជូនគាត់ទៅរកសេវាដែលសមស្របបើយើងប្រឹងប្រែងអ្វីៗគ្រប់យ៉ាងទាំងអស់នេះអាចធ្វើទៅបាននោះក៏ដើម្បីឆ្លើយតបទៅនឹងបញ្ហាគ្មានផ្ទះសម្បែងនេះឯងយើងមានការកើនឡើងនៅក្នុងការទទួលសេវារបស់យើងពីប្រជាពលរដ្ឋនៅមូលដ្ឋានជាពិសេសជនអនាថាដូចជានៅតាមមណ្ឌលសេវាចល័តដែលផ្ដល់ភាពងាយស្រួលដល់ពលរដ្ឋនៅក្នុងការទទួលបានទីជម្រកបាទទីជម្រកថ្មីនេះរួមទាំងកិច្ចខិតខំប្រឹងប្រែងរបស់យើងជាច្រើនទៀតគឺឆ្លុះបញ្ចាំងអំពីការបដិញ្ញារបស់យើងនៅក្នុងការធ្វើយ៉ាងណាធានាឲ្យបានផ្ដល់សេវានិងជ្រោមជ្រែងដល់ពលរដ្ឋគ្រប់រូបនៅក្នុងសហគមន៍យើងបាទសម្រាប់ព័ត៌មានបន្ថែមអំពីជំរករដូវរងានេះសូមតាក់ទងទៅមជ្ឈមណ្ឌលពហុសេវាតាមរយៈលេខទូរស័ព្ទ562 570 4500ឬគេហទំព័រ longbeach.gov/homelessness សូមអរគុណ